Hello, hello. Okay, so I was listening to a podcast the other day, and it was, I think, to all the people I've loved before. To all the people is the name of the podcast. I found it on like TikTok or something like that, and she was talking about how failure has to be a part of your new year. Basically saying that like nothing can be accomplished without failure, and I kind of wanted to like elaborate on that. Just say I agree with her. So I also I just realized I sat down and I had a completely different voice than I normally do. Um, Whatever that's about. Anyway, I want to say it was Sarah Blakely who said that, whenever she would sit down, I feel like it was Sarah Blakely who said whenever she sat down at the dinner table, whenever she was younger, her dad would always ask, okay, so what's something that you failed at today? And then they'd have to like think of their failures for the day. And it was something that was like so cool to me because it's just like, failure isn't something that you should be like ashamed of, but failure is a part of everyday life. And it's a part of succeeding is you're going to have to fail at some point. And I thought that was really cool. And I was just like, you know what? Like, yeah, yeah, failure is a part of success. It's kind of like, the little staircase where or like, it's like, like two steps forward and one step back, even though that's the opposite of that one song where it says, hey, Google, what's the name of that song that says one step forward and two steps back? Hold on. Oh, wait, this might be it. I remember it being very like 2012 ish. Wait, maybe this isn't it. Hey, Google, what are the lyrics for one step forward, two steps back, no matter what I do, you're always mad?
Which one would you like?
Okay, well, I accidentally just started a TED Talk. Anyway, it's the song where it's like one step forward and two steps back. No matter what I do, you're always mad, and I finally see. Anyway, so I wanted to, long story short, I want to say that's basically what success is, and what success kind of ends up looking like is that it's going to be one step forward, it's going to be two steps back sometimes, but then it'll be two steps forward and one step back, and then you're going to start improving. And slow incremental progression is way better than being stagnant and being too afraid to move forward, which I feel like is something that I do oftentimes, is where I'm like really scared to like move forward, or scared to work on things, because I'm like, oh, what if I fuck up and like everybody sees it, and then I like post stupid shit on TikTok anyway, so like everyone's gonna see that. So it's whatever, it's fine. But honestly, like, me posting stuff on TikTok is more just because that's stuff that I love and I think is funny. I do think that with failure just being kind of like a natural thing of life, I do think that it's also very hard to grasp, especially if you come from a background where like you are always meant, like you're always supposed to succeed, kind of thing, and then you fail and then you're like, oh, whoa, whoa, like that's not okay. That's something that's not acceptable. And then it just takes a lot to realize, like that is something that's acceptable. So if growing up, we're supposed to make, like straight A's. And if you didn't get straight A's, parents would like literally beat your ass. That's something that sucks. It does suck, honestly. But for me, I just accepted, you know what? Maybe I'm just going to continue to disappoint people until they just accept that that's part of me. And so then, like in school, I would just make, like A's, B's, some C's and stuff like that. Actually, I did get a D in my Spanish class in junior high, and my mom was so embarrassed of me that she made me stop taking Spanish. So I didn't really learn that much Spanish. But I took sign language, which was actually, I think we might have gone over this, which is my second language. So I got an A in that class, obviously, but I wasn't allowed to get 100, which sucked, but it's fine, it's whatever. So, okay. I wouldn't say my TikTok is like a huge success. Like, I have a decent amount of followers on there, and I love everyone, and I think it's so cool and so fun. So I just kind of want to share that with y'all, if you will. So I think it took me probably like 2 years to get to like 10,000 followers, like a year and a half, 2 years or something like that. And that's just because I would post things that I was like, you know what, this is funny. And to me, it wasn't ever like a very much like, oh, like I'm gonna start this TikTok and I'm gonna grow it and this is the intent and everything behind it. I was just doing it because I was like, oh, I make myself laugh with this. Maybe someone else is gonna laugh. Maybe other people won't laugh. And if they don't laugh, that's a-okay. I crack myself up on the daily, and me cracking myself up is all I need. Actually, my videos lately have been getting like less than 10 views, and I don't really understand it, but that's also fine because it's whatever. You know, like I'm just doing it for fun, basically. But it took me, you know, it took me a while to grow to at least 10,000. And that was because and then yeah, the reason I actually got 10,000 was because I had a video go viral. I actually had a few videos go viral, but one in particular was that I didn't realize that I had duetted something from another country that was really, really popular. And then they saw, you know, the American audience, me, you know, duetting it and stuff like that. And then I would interact with them. And I was like, okay, let me figure out how to, you know, like keep this success and everything. And so, you know, I would like talk to them in their language and stuff like that. Also, I just like learning languages, so that's fun. Can I still speak the same language? No. But, you know, I know how to write two things. Yes and ha 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 slash LOL. But yeah, I think that those connections and everything are really fun. And maybe your success is, you know, like a little short-term thing. Maybe it's just a success of, you know, like you're working to get a promotion at your job or something like that. But with that, just know that not everything that you try is going to be perfect. And not everything that you try should be like, if you're super, super, super good at the very first thing you try, that is amazing. And congratulations. Maybe that's like a little special hidden talent or something you have. I don't know. I wouldn't say that just because you aren't good at something means that you don't need to keep trying. If it's something that you want to try, I mean, okay, even like what is it? The word amateur is basically like someone who enjoys doing something. Hey Google, what's the definition of the word amateur?
A person who engages in a pursuit, especially a sport, on an unpaid rather than a professional basis.
There we go. And you're doing it because, you know, like she said, unpaid. You're doing it because this is something that you love or something that you just find interest in. And you're like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Like, for example, playing soccer with your buddies. People like playing soccer with their buddies. For me, I really do like playing soccer with my buddies. And you know what? I might not be the best at it. And you know what? That's also okay. But to think that because I'm not good at soccer means that I should not play soccer is ludicrous to think about. If I really sat there and was like, you know what, I'm actually really, really not good at this, so I'm gonna stop completely. What? Girl, pick yourself up and just keep trying. And if it's something that I genuinely end up finding out that I don't enjoy or don't like doing, I can stop it later on. But if I'm just stopping because that's something that I feel like is, I just get embarrassed because I'm bad at it, that's not an excuse to stop. If I get embarrassed because I'm bad at it, that means at least I got embarrassed because I tried doing it, you know? Also with that though, I'm very much like if you don't try, you never know kind of person, you know? Or like if you don't ask, the answer is always going to be no. If you don't try, you'll never succeed. If what's the other phrase where it's like try and try again is better than like try once and make it perfect or something like that, you know? But basically, like, just know that you're never going to be perfect in the beginning whenever you try something. And if you are, that's really cool and really great. But you know what? That's not everybody. That's definitely not me. So if you want to go ahead and try something and put yourself out there to do whatever, maybe it's a little embarrassing in the beginning because you're bad at it. Like, okay, oh, here's a great example. Me with sports. I love playing sports. I will be, you know, like if it's like, okay, hey, like we need a volleyball team or whatever, I'll be like, listen, I'll do it. I'm gonna warn you now, hand-eye coordination, like that is not there. So like volleyball, basketball, stuff like that, like I'm telling you right now, I'm not good at it, but I will do it because I genuinely think it's fun. Stuff I am good at is more like, you know, like martial arts and where it's like, you know, like hands-on physical activity. I love doing that and I'm actually like good at it, you know? But like in high school, I did like, you know, like there was soccer, gymnastics, track, wrestling. What else is there? I don't know. I think there was another sport in there. But yeah, so like I would do a lot of sports. I even did theater because I genuinely really do enjoy theater and I think it's super fun. I even auditioned for like theater plays and stuff. So like in junior high, I was in like the plays as like the chorus, you know? And I was like, man, this is it. I love this. And And I just think that it's so much fun. Even if it's something that I'm not that good at, where it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna be in the chorus, but I'm gonna love coming to this practice all the time because it's fun to me. Or, or like with soccer, it's like, yeah, I really was not the best out there. I'll tell you that right now. I wasn't the best, but I really enjoyed doing it. And I got better as time went. With track, was I the fastest runner? No. With wrestling, was I no, I wasn't, but I was just doing these things because I enjoy them, because I genuinely think that just putting yourself out there and trying new things is fun. Not only that, but also like on if you're watching this on YouTube, you can go through my playlist, and I think I have a like days of rejection or whatever. It was supposed to be like a month, and I don't think I finished the whole month. But that's also because I'm very good at starting things but not finishing things, which is really, really unfortunate, which also leads into a lot of other things in my life, which kind of sucks. But at the same time, it's also like, okay, whatever, like I know that I'm gonna be able to like start these things, but then finishing tasks is really, really big. So like things with like my resume, I fucking sat there and I focused for the longest time, because I was like, if I don't sit here and focus all on one thing, it's not gonna finish. And you know what? I did it. I finished. I was so happy about it. But now I need to work on more of my portfolio, and I'm like, kind of dragging my feet, but it's fine. So yeah. Anyway, I think that putting yourself out there and at least starting and trying something is great, even if you're not the best at it, as long as you have fun with it, is basically what I'm saying. Is basically TLDR. If you don't try, you'll never know. You're not gonna start perfect, but you can get better. All right. And also, not only that, but why is perfect the goal? Why is it always, like, oh, well, I want to be perfect at this? It's like, okay, but don't put so much pressure on yourself to where if you aren't the perfect person at this, that you're going to fall apart, because, that's also not a good thing to, be falling apart in the middle of whatever because you're not perfect, and, nobody really is. Hey, let me tell y'all about, so I had actually put this out on, not on Pinterest, on TikTok, where I was like, hey, like I submitted a resume to Pinterest and I made it look like a Pinterest board. And so then everyone was like, like, oh my gosh, that's really, really cool. And like, I made myself public with that. Like, that got like a good amount of views and a good amount of engagement and everything as well. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, so sweet. And then I ended up not getting the job. And so, I put my public failure out there as well with, like, hey, thanks everybody for backing me up. I actually ended up not getting the job at Pinterest, which, you know what? That kind of sucked, because I was looking so much into everything that they have, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this would be absolutely amazing. And you know what? I'll even show y'all if you're watching this on YouTube, you get to see the list of the jobs I've been applying for that just have not been saying yes or just not getting back to me. And y'all know I'm ready to rage. I genuinely want to do something in like UX UI design. And so far I'm getting a lot of no's, but that's also just a part of job hunting. It's like, what do you expect? Like, you're going to job hunt and the very first person you apply to is like, yes, and then you're good and you're set for life. Like, that's not really how it works. You got to put yourself out there, and you got to get no's, and you got to get yeses, and you got to get maybes, and then figure out what works for you, But for me, unfortunately, it was not Pinterest, and it's not a lot of jobs, a lot of companies apparently, but it's whatever. I think that just putting yourself out there should be no shame in it. And basically that's what failure is putting yourself out there and maybe just not being the best, but also realizing that that's okay. You putting yourself out there and failing is better than sitting on the freaking sidelines and doing nothing. Like, for me, whenever I see, somebody like put a recipe or whatever out on TikTok or on Pinterest or whatever, I'm like, oh my gosh, like that looks absolutely amazing. Like, I would love to post my recipes and stuff. I mean, granted, I don't like my recipes and recipes that I find, but it's like, I would love to post like recipes and stuff and do that, but that'd be really cool. But I just don't, and that's me sitting on the sidelines watching other people, try, and maybe their video gets like, like 10 likes or something like that. And that's okay. Like, at least you're trying, and you're putting yourself out there, and you're putting some effort into it, I think that that's so admirable. Well, also, what's that one quote? I forget who it's from. Hey, Google, who says the quote about...
No, but I found these results on search.
Can y'all see Selena Gomez? Who says the quote about well-mannered women being not recorded in history?
On the website news.harvard.edu, they say,
This
however,
is
in the 1970s, Laurel Thatcher Ulrich penned in a scholarly article about the funeral sermons of Christian women that well-behaved women seldom make history. The phrase subsequently gained wide popularity, appearing on t-shirts, coffee...
There we go. Well-behaved women seldom make history. And whether you're a woman or a man, I think you should take something from that, which is sitting on the sidelines or doing only what you're told is not going to progress you. And it's not going to make huge monumental change. It's kind of like the thing where they talk about, what is it? Dang, I don't know why Martin Luther King's popping in my head. I don't know. Now I'm just thinking a lot of activists. Anyway, basically, it's something about, you know, like an idea. Basically, put your fucking ideas out there. All right, I can't think of the thing. But you know, like if you want to do something and you just don't know how, just try. You know, like that's kind of like me with this podcast. Like, do I know how to do a podcast and make it successful? No. I bought a tripod recently, and so my phone is on this little tripod, and I'm recording the podcast on here. I don't have a mic. I could wear these headphones. You know what? I will wear these headphones for a little bit because they're actually quite comfortable, but they are soundproof, which probably makes me a lot louder. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, and I'm so sorry if I'm shouting at you right now. But I also feel like I just have a very loud voice in general. My parents were always like, you know what, let's go ahead and get you tested to see if you maybe have like a hearing issue or something like that. I'll let you know right now, I actually have excellent hearing. If a frog was farting outside, I'd be like, oh, is that a frog? It's probably a little green frog too, huh? You know, like, or like, oh, nope, that one's a toad. I don't know why I went on that little tangent. Anyway, point is, you need to put yourself out there. You need to get rejected. And I feel like that might be scary for a lot of people. For me, I kind of love the thrill of, you know, like doing something new and doing something that I don't know what the hell I'm doing, because I think it's really, really fun to just try new things. That's why I like learning languages and different things like that, because I'm like, oh, like I don't know where this is going to end up, but we'll see. And we're going to have fun doing it. So I think stuff like that is really awesome. And I really admire people who want to go and get out and do things and try things, and then they get good at it, like artists or different things like that, you know? And they're like, you know, like people who sing and they just keep singing, and then they run into somebody, or, you know, maybe their dad's Phil Collins or something like that. Then you get to become an actor on Emily in Paris. You know, maybe that one's not such a good example. But yeah, I think it's just really admirable to see people who don't really know like the very first steps or like how to go about something, but they go out and they do it, and eventually they get really good at it, you know? So I mean, like, even for example, like Jenna Marbles on YouTube. I love Jenna Marbles. All right. I love her so much. And if she had never put out that first video of, you know, like how to trick people into thinking you're good looking, if she had never put that out, I'd be so sad. I literally love her so, so, so much. And because of that video, she got success. Of course, with success comes the haters. And you know what? The haters gonna hate. Haters gonna ain't. The haters gonna say ain't us. Please tell me somebody's seen the interview. Anyway, that's basically what I want to say. And also, like, you know, like the people who put out the podcast and different things like that, I think that's really, really cool. And I really admire that, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like I love sitting there and like just listening to a podcast or whatever in the car or while I'm cooking or different things like that. And, you know, like, for example, Emma Chamberlain's podcast. Oh my gosh, Emma Chamberlain. She was talking about this in one of her podcasts where she was saying how, what was it? How she had a podcast before about, like, you know, science or something like that, because that's something that she's interested in, and it didn't do that well. And then, you know, like something happened or whatever, and people were like, hey, you know, basically make another podcast, but, you know, just you talking, you know? And she was like, I don't know how well that's gonna go, or like whatever they pitched her, you know? And now her podcast is like a huge success, and she has, you know, she has a lot of followers. I don't know how many followers she has on there, but a lot. You know, she probably has a lot of followers that listen to her podcast every single time it comes out. I listen to it, like, I'll like let a week or two go by, because I just, you know, listen to a lot of other things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Emma posted. I think it's like on Thursdays or something, which is also whenever Peyton Sarton posts, because I know she posts her things on Thursdays. Anyway, point is, if Emma was like, no, like that other podcast I had did not really go well, and I don't want to try another one, we wouldn't have Anything Goes by Emma Chamberlain, and y'all should try it, because, I mean, y'all should listen to it, because I actually genuinely really think it's good. And it's just like fun to listen to, and I feel like I'm chit-chatting with a little buddy. So anyway, anyway, I think that trying and failing is a natural part of life. And if you don't try and fail, it feels like you probably didn't even try. You know, like for me, I'll be the first to tell you, I have failed at so many things. I have failed at so many things. It's a little bit embarrassing, but also now I got like a good list going. It's not that big of a like who's gonna sit there and remember every single failure I've ever had? I'll tell you who. Me. And not even me, because I'm not gonna sit there and, harp on my whole list, but I also probably don't remember every single failure I've ever had, which is totally fine with me. But yeah, nobody's gonna sit there and be like, oh yeah, I remember on April 19th, whenever you went over to the grocery store and you had tried to make this recipe or whatever, but you said the word of the fruit wrong and you went home with the wrong food, and then you went and tried to cook something even though it was like, I don't know, that was a random thing and none of that is true. But anyway, nobody's going to remember the small failures that you've had throughout your life. And that's kind of a freeing thing. I put this on TikTok the other day or whatever, where I was like, nobody cares, which I think that's like nihilism or something. But basically, it's like, do what you're going to do because nobody's nobody's paying that much attention to you or to what you're doing. And no one's sitting there keeping tabs on every single thing you do. And also, if they are, that's like pretty freaking weird. So, like, why are you wanting validation from someone like that? If you want to do something, but you're scared to because you're scared you might fail, first of all, I'm going to tell you this. Nobody cares if you fail. All right? You might as well go out there and try it because nobody's going to sit there and keep record of, like what you did right or wrong. If you're trying to build a desk and you fail at building a desk, that's okay. Just try and build another desk. If you try at, like, I don't know, if you try at singing and you really suck, get a vocal coach. Like there's so many options on how to get better. There's YouTube tutorials even for probably everything. I'm gonna be honest. There's probably YouTube tutorials for like every single thing out there. And it's fun. And it's just exciting and really fun. And I think that everyone should want to try at something new. For me, I like learning languages, like I'm learning French, and so I am trying at that. And I'll try to speak French on my like TikTok lives sometimes. And I'm like, oh, Tristan, he's like one of the people who, joins all the time. And I'll be like, I'll say, like something, and then he'll respond. And I'm like, uh-huh. I don't know what that means, but we're getting there, or like, practicing with friends who speak or different things like that, So anyway, there's like a really big truck outside idling and I keep on hearing it. And you know what? Sometimes it freaks me out and sometimes I'm like, oh well. Oh well. Not only that, but failure spills into everything in your life. And I want you to know that life will be failure after failure and then success. And then you fail at something else. And, that's okay. That's okay. Because if your life was just success, 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 I'm not going to lie, I feel like it would get a little bit boring. There would be no challenges. And you'd be like, oh, I'm so good at everything. And then pick up a little viola that you've never picked up before in your life because you don't know how to play viola. And then you do it perfectly. Boring, okay? No one's gonna pick up a viola the very first time and freaking kill it. I probably wouldn't. I'm gonna be honest with you. My brother's really good at brass instruments, and whenever he like picked up the stuff or whatever, his band teacher was like, he could play any brass instrument he wanted to, and he would be really good at it. That's really cool to me. That's really cool to me. I couldn't pick up any instrument and just like be good at it, like the piano. I had to practice on that baby for a while, and now I can read it. I'm very slow. If I were to practice, I would actually get good. But am I practicing? No. And you know what? That's okay because that's genuinely not something that I'm super, super interested in at the moment. But whenever I get interested, I will be good. I'm telling you that now. Also, I'm sure there are so many podcasts that talk on this topic. So the ones that I'm thinking of are, that one episode from Emma Chamberlain with Anything Goes, and then the other episode with To All the People, or for the all the people or something like that. I'll put links to both of those. Also, if you want to listen to this on Spotify, I can I'll put the link of my Spotify in there because now my podcast is on Spotify and I think Apple Podcast, which is really cool. Also, this is like podcast number 6 or something like that, and I'm trying to get consistent with it. I'm so sorry that I'm not. And it's just because, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, sometimes I forget. Okay. This could be like, honestly, I could make a whole podcast of examples of me failing at things. I'll give you another example right now. Me going to college and then dropping out and then just not continuing to pursue getting a higher education. I feel like that's a massive failure on my end. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I could go back and get my associates. Do I want to? No. Should I actually, I probably should do that, but it's fine. I don't have the motivation to, or the care to. So it's whatever, really. It's not like I'm failing at something that I want to succeed at. I'm just failing at something that's gonna suck. But that's okay. It's whatever. For example, like, okay, so there's a family friend and she had a podcast for a while and she was doing it and I really liked it. And and she stopped. I don't know if it was just because of whatever, but seeing her put herself out there to do that podcast, and I think that was like 2 years ago or something like that, 2 or 3 years ago, I was so happy for her. My dad just got home, so I want to see if he has anything to contribute. But if he doesn't, then this will be the end of the podcast because I want to go hang out with him.